Hi, everybody. This is Justin here. I'm adding to the weekly forecasts in light of the very Urian shock disrupting events and communication in the public eye of this weekend. I wanted to take a look at Kobe Bryant's chart on the day of his passing for more of a perspective and educational purposes. When I first started learning astrology, I would have my fiance test me on celebrity charts just so I could pick up on transits and aspects to further build my pedigree and overall understanding of the events at the time. What I also know is human nature. Sometimes we get too close to things where sometimes it's best to take a step back and look at the energy from a 40,000 foot view. A lot of times it's helpful to look at world events to tie into the now. And then also it gives us an opportunity to see how these planetary energies are expressed. So I wanted to review Mr. Bryant's chart just as a takeaway of the energy of the times. The new moon in Aquarius, we'll see endings and new beginnings in Uranus, very shocking, disruptive way. So I wanted to kind of look at what's transiting in Mr. Bryant's chart and to kind of show you some of the pieces of the puzzle of the events of January 26th. Since the main theme of the times of last week carrying into this week are related to Uranus, I wanted to draw your attention to Uranus itself. It's transiting Kobe's fourth house, and probably more importantly, not just his fourth house, but his it's right on his IC, which very fourth house related, home, family, emotional foundations. But when planets either aspect, via square, conjunct, the angles of the chart, there tends to be a bit more significance. So as you can see with Kobe, again, Uranus is very disruptive, it's shocking. Uranus represents the course corrector. It shakes your foundation to put you on a new path. In this case, it was a great shock and disruption affecting his fourth house and IC, home and family. Also interesting enough, this transit of Uranus is affecting his natal moon in Chiron. Moon also represents home. Chiron is your deepest pain or wound. And there's this activation point to his natal Uranus in opposition. In most classic forms, your Uranus opposition tends to be more of a midlife crisis. But there's a lot of other things going on in his chart to indicate that this will be something a little bit more extreme than a midlife crisis. This transit's also impacting his in conjunction with Venus, Pluto, and Mars. Pluto in general is death and rebirth and transformation. It doesn't always necessarily mean death. It, again, depends on a lot of the aspecting factors. But this conjunction is tied to Venus, which is relationships, and also Mars. And if we look where Mars is currently, this conjunction itself is hitting his midheaven, which is its public reputation. So clearly these shocking events have changed his public standing in probably the most shocking ways, from leaving the planet altogether, and changing his the definition of his existence. But also Mars in transit is hitting his natal Neptune. Now remember, Mars represents guns, bombs, explosions, war, which is affecting his natal Neptune, which correlates to transition. And then you look at Mars is in a square with his transiting Venus and Neptune in Pisces. So there's a lot of Uranus, Mars, and Neptune activity. Neptune is other realms. Neptune is transition. Also, a part of this conversation, Kobe has his transiting Chiron, which is in square with his AC, which is, in short, his identity. Now with the shift from his MC and AC, death itself does change how people see you in the world. In this case, obviously, his identity has shifted into his soul form, into the other worlds. In addition to that, the North Node is on his descendant, and the South Node is on his AC. And then Saturn and Pluto are conjunct Capricorn. Pluto has a tendency to be the destroyer, and Saturn is there to build new structures. So there's a lot happening in his chart on this day. One may suggest this is destiny or fate knocking on his door. I've always been a firm believer that we contract our life experience before we're born. And to me, astrology is a way to read your soul contract. It's a talisman or compass to empower us, and to not only help us navigate through some of the more difficult aspects, a place to draw strength and solutions in these life events. So I know this has shocked the world in a great way. Many online have mentioned that it resonates emotions of almost Princess Diana or the death of Tupac, all of which were very shocking and disruptive. So out of no disrespect to Mr. Kobe Bryant, I just felt this would be a lot of events to come, both on a mundane and personal level, especially with Uranus and Taurus. One may say that it might bring us to our knees. And sometimes when you have a death of this magnitude, what often comes is deep reflection. Two ways of thought. If you know the day you were going to pass, would you live your life differently? Would you savor the moments? Would you be more forgiving and compassionate. Also, with a lot of the world events, and we're seeing a lot of natural disasters and pandemics coming to the table, maybe this passing would help prepare us for what's ahead. Many have mentioned to me that a lot of people have been leaving this world, and maybe this event is to prepare us emotionally for what's coming ahead. Anyways, I thought this would be somewhat of a helpful demonstration, and to tie in to the events coming into your own chart to better prepare you and give you more of a solid foundation. I'll end this discussion with honoring the 4 elements, and always know that you could pull from the 4 elements at any time. And let us call in Earth. Thank you for the strength, foundation, and support for the journey at hand. Always remember that you're never alone with the earth underneath your feet and the stars above your head. Thank you, air, for breathing new life into our bodies, for we are reborn with each breath. Let's thank fire for purging what no longer is in our highest and greatest good. And thank you, water, for providing the emotions needed to manifest our dreams, wishes, and desires. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This is Justin. I'm not your coach. I'm not your guru. I'm not your guide. I'm your aid, angel in disguise. I help you, empower you. Until next time, thank you.